I'm not doing the James Brown tonight. I was talking with Mr. Biden and Tom Perez in the back. Today is D-Day, as we have this African American summit. We must remember that there were black soldiers 75 years ago that went to Normandy and fought and died and came back to the United States and did not have the rights and privileges of what they fought for. As I watched some of the coverage this morning and watched as even the present president was on good behavior, if he hasn't messed up by now on the way back. No one mentioned the fact that we had to deal in a segregated armed forces and that many that fought and died, those that lived came back and had to sit in the back of buses, couldn't come in a hotel like where the summit was and rent a room. We have always had to fight to get everything that we got. And we cannot have a generation facing 2020 that forgot how we got where we are. Nobody gave you anything. People fought and paid a price, and therefore you owe because you received. I see too many black elected, black corporate, and others sitting high like they did something to get there. You must never forget the price that was paid, the sacrifices that was made. The reason that some are afraid to stand up now is because they forgot if there wasn't others that had stood up, you would not be in position. I remember debating one night a self-described black conservative, and he told me, Reverend Al, I don't believe in all that marching and protesting you do. I made it because of my merit. Look at my resume. He whipped it out. I went to the right schools. I have the right references. I'm a member of the right fraternities. I took his resume. I read it. I said, you're right. He said, and civil rights didn't write my resume. I looked at it. I said, you're right. You have an impressive background, right? Pedigree. And civil rights did not write your resume. But civil rights made somebody read your resume. You're not the first smart Negro in America. We have got to get over Negro amnesia and remember who we are and how we got here and stand up for voting rights and economic rights and criminal justice rights. And we cannot let them do to our vote what they did in 16 and going forward with all of the schemes we talked about tonight with Tom Perez and Joe Biden. They are trying to take back our vote. The thing they will not talk about in all of these scandals that should be discussed about Russia. They targeted suppressing black voters. They used social media with some do-it-yourself fake activist sites to tell people that they shouldn't vote, and there was no difference. We've got to start in 19 to protect the vote and identify these provocateurs that would rob us of our right to vote. It is dark. When you see what happened in Charlottesville, it's dark. When you see when Mr. Kemp can close down polling sites. As Secretary of State, it is dark. But even in the dark, there's a light that comes. Even in the dark, there's stars that shine. Even in the darkness, I sit back and look at a star. Maxine Waters, the chair of the committee that Donald Trump is going to have to give his finances to. Even in the dark, I can see breakthroughs if we would just remember we're the children of soldiers that died sitting in the back of the bus when they got home. But their belief was that if they paid a price, that they would not be paying a price for some ingrates that were more impressed with their title than their function. Don't tell us your title. Tell us what you do. Don't tell us how high you've gone when you can't tell us what you've done at that height. I say everywhere I go, and I'll close with this, there's no task harder for a black preacher than to preach the funeral of an irrelevant Negro. They roll the body down the aisle, lay it out in front of the altar, family sitting over there crying and carrying on, and we supposed to get up and hallucinate a life for you you never lived. Most folks shouldn't even have a funeral, because most folk have done nothing we could talk about. Bought you a nice house, we'll sell it. Got you a nice car, we'll give it to somebody else. The only thing that will matter 2 minutes after you die is what you've done for more than yourself. It's time for you to work for more than you. Story of Normandy was that when the first wave came, they killed over 90%. The second wave came and they kept on coming. We are the next wave to protect voting rights. We are the next wave to protect economics rights. We are the next wave to protect civil rights. It's time for us to hit the beach of justice and stand up and fight and protect the legacy and the sacrifice of those that came before us. Thank you. God bless.